Productions.
The best way to arrange your beats in 2020. So this is the pattern that I have right now. I have an omnisphere, another omnisphere, another omnisphere for a synth bass, 808, clap, hi-hat, kick, perk, open hat, another hi-hat, and just a vocal. This is what it sounds like all together. And then with the synth bass instead of the 808. And then in addition to all that, I chopped the first omnisphere melody and it sounds like this. I chopped the first one and the second one together on the same wave file. So that's what the whole beat sounds like right now, and now we're just going to get into the arrangement part. It's already all mixed and mastered. To start off, to arrange the beat, I like to just compile all the sounds in the first 8 bars right here since it's an 8-bar loop. So I'm just going to delete pattern 1. I'm going to clone it. So I have pattern 2 now. We have pattern 2 right here. And right click pattern 2 and hit split by channel. And now we have all our different channels from pattern 1 in their own pattern. I'm just going to move these up to here, and I'm going to click, hold shift, and click right here to select all of these different patterns and just drag them onto the playlist right here. And so me personally, I like to have the melodies at the top over here, and then I like to have the synth bass, then the 808, kick, clap, snares and perks, and then hi-hats and open hats at the bottom. That's just me personally, but you can do it however you want. So I'm just going to quickly rearrange the sounds to be in that format. So to do that, I'm going to take the sound I want, hold shift, and I can just scroll up and down and place it where I want to place it. So now I'm going to hold control, click and drag to select everything, hit control B to latch paste. So now we have to start thinking about the actual structure of the beat. Is it going to be an intro and then a verse, or intro and then a hook? So on the screen, I'm just going to flash different arrangement methods that people use in terms of bars for the hook, intro, verse, all that stuff right now. Alright, so for this beat, I think I'm going to do either an 8 or a 16 bar intro, then have the hook, and then have the verse after that. So for the intro, I like to have 1 or 2 sounds, and then have some more sounds come in afterwards for the second part of the intro. Okay, so to add a marker to the playlist, you hit Control T and it will appear above the screen here. You can now right click and hit rename. I'm just going to put I for intro. Now I want the hook here, so I'm going to right click, hit add marker, and put H for hook. Okay, so now we have the intro and the hook. When the hook first comes in, I'll usually either drop the drums straight away, or I'll have a section where I have a bit of like a synth bass, maybe some like perks, some hi-hats, just to kind of get like the rhythm of the beat going. Just give the artist something to build on for the hook. And so this is what it sounds like. think I'm going to keep the chopped omnisphere patterns exclusive for the hooks, so it's only going to come in during the hook and not during the verse. Okay, so when you arrange your tracks, it's all about energy. So if you have like a high energy hook, you don't want to straight drop it off right away into the verse. You want to have it kind of like segue down and then maybe hit again afterwards. That's what I did right here. So right here, this section is really super high energy because there's lots of drums coming in. It's really fast paced and the artist is probably be doing something crazy at this point. And then once the verse comes in, you slowly take away the elements and then you start to build everything down, break everything down, and then boom, it comes back in and it hits super hard. This is what we did right here. And it's also good to switch the 808 out for the synth bass and like keep like swapping back and forth to keep your beat interesting. Because if you're sending out to artists or if you're posting like type beats on YouTube or anything else like SoundCloud, any of that, you want to keep the listener entertained. So you don't want to keep having like the same thing being repetitive. Even a lot of people say it's good to switch up every 8 bars every so long. For me, I think it's better to switch up even sooner. That's what I did right here. I took out the 808 3 bars in, hi-hat 4 bars in, and just keep constantly like changing elements, bringing stuff back in. Just keep the beat interesting to listen to and to keep giving the artist like ideas when they're listening to the beat to jump on to build on. And then for this section right here before the hook, I like to have a little like breakdown section where everything breaks down. Alright, so now the hook comes back in right here. To start off, I'm going to just copy everything over for the hook like this. But I like to change stuff up from one hook to the other hook or like one verse to the other verse to add variation, just keep the listener entertained, going back to what I was talking about before. I think instead of having the synth bass on the first half of the hook, I'm going to have an 808 and just kind of switch it out that way. Okay, so I changed something right here. So for the hook, instead of having any of the unchopped atmosphere, I just kept it so it's just the chopped atmosphere number 1 and then chopped atmosphere number 1 and 2. So this is what the hook. That's just to add a bit of variation between the hook and the verse. So the hook just sounds different from the verse, because if you listen, that obviously sounds a lot different than this. Alright, and then for the second hook, I brought in the 808 in the first half instead of the synth bass. And then I brought in the synth bass for the second half on the drop. Now on to the next verse. So I'm going to start again by copying the verse over like this. Then I'm going to change just a few key elements on the second verse to give it variation. Alright, so this is another quick tip. So if you have your 808 and the synth bass clashing like this, what you can do is you could take your 808 and what's called truncate it. So turn the attack all the way down, hold all the way up, decay, sustain, and release all down. So now the 808 only plays when you have the key pressing down. So it'll play now, but if I press the key super quick, it'll be like super choppy because it's only playing while I have the key pressed down. So once this note ends, once the key is pressed up, once the key isn't being pressed down anymore, then the note will stop and it'll leave room for the synth bass coming in. Sounds much cleaner. If you have the synth bass first before the 808 and it's clashing a little bit like this, it doesn't sound too bad now, but just a quick fix is you can go into the synth bass into the wrench tool, you see it says cut 4x4. If it doesn't say anything, just hit cut self, and then you can go to the 808, go to the wrench tool as well, and cut 4x4 like that. Now it'll sound clean. And then for the last hook, I'm going to bring back the first hook. And add a quick outro with the fade out. Alright, so to do a fade out, hit the mixer tab, go to the master, copy the value it's at right now, right click, hit initiate song with this position, right click, create automation clip. Then you're going to want to go to the part where you want the fade out to start, probably about right here. Right click to create a new point, right click again to paste the value, and then you're just going to drag this dot all the way down to here to fade it out. And I like to drag this up a little bit to create a bit of tension, so it'll stay louder for longer and then it'll drop off quieter quickly. Now it's time to just add a couple transitions, so I'm going to drag some stuff in and then just mix it quickly and then just bring it in front of each hook just to give it a bit of variation as well and just to build up tension in the beat. So this is what it sounds like with the transition effect. So now the final step to finish the beat is just to add your producer tag and to export the beat. I'm going to play the beat at the end of the video and also leave a link to it in the description for purchase. Thank you very much for watching.